welcome to Enduring Faith. I've got a good question for you today. Have you ever had someone make a promise to you and then not keep it? I think we all know the answer to that. Of course you have. And if we're being honest, we've probably made a few promises ourselves that we haven't kept, right? I know I have. Let's not beat ourselves up too badly here, but let's give ourselves some grace and say, for the sake of argument, there was a good reason at the time, and there probably was. But let's ask a different question. Have you ever had someone make a promise to you that just seemed to take too long? Maybe it was a parent, a spouse, or a close friend. And in your mind, you uttered those words, but they promised. If you've ever felt that, you're going to connect with Caleb. If you're not familiar with the story of Caleb, you can read about this great man of faith in the books of Numbers and Joshua. Caleb is one of the most underrated heroes in Scripture. When he was a younger man, God made him a promise. He said, "You're going to inherit this land." Caleb believed it. He trusted it. He lived his life around it. And then he waited. Not a year, not 5 years, not 10 years. Caleb waited 45 years for that promise. 45 years of wandering, 45 years of watching other people move forward, 45 years of delays, detours, and disappointments, 45 years of living with a promise that hadn't happened yet. Most people would have given up. Most people would have assumed the promise expired. Most people would have believed they'd missed their chance. But not Caleb. When he finally stood before Joshua, he didn't say, "I hope the promise still counts." He said, "Give me the mountain God promised me." That's confidence. That's faith. That's a man who believed God's promise was still alive, even after decades of waiting. Caleb was faithful because he knew God. Paul says in Romans that God's gifts and calling are irrevocable. That means God doesn't change his mind. He doesn't cancel his promises. He doesn't withdraw his calling. He doesn't say, "That was the younger version of you." If God promised it, he's still yours. And Caleb knew that. Maybe you're at a time in your life where you feel like the delay has been too long. Maybe you're wondering if the promise was for a different time and for some reason you just missed it. Maybe you're looking at your age, your circumstances, your season, and you're thinking, "I guess that ship has sailed." Caleb's story says otherwise. Your delay is not your denial. Your waiting is not wasted. Your season does not cancel God's promise. God was not late with Caleb. God was not slow. God wasn't unsure. He was preparing Caleb for the exact moment when the promise would be fulfilled. Not early, not late, but right on time. So today, let the story about Caleb remind you, if God promised it, he will fulfill it, no matter how long it takes. Hold on. The mountain God promised you, it's still yours. God keeps his promises, so keep choosing love today.